Hello, I'm Matthew from Tutovox.fr, and today in this Tutovox video I'm going to teach you how to play your first game of the 7th continent. To access specific parts of the video, please go to the index with the timecodes in the description below. This symbol will appear when important information will be given. Pay extra attention when it's there to avoid mistakes. At the end of the video, a screen will summarize this information. The 7th continent is a cooperative survival and exploration game that works with scenarios, the curses. Players are cursed explorers who want to free themselves from the curse. As in any adventure, you will have to discover your surroundings, and your play area will unfold as the game progresses. To win, you need to remove the curse against which you have chosen to play. The game will tell you when this is the case. Also, please note the 7th continent is a game that builds itself over time, and that you will need numerous gameplay hours to remove the curse. You will certainly have to stop playing at some point. This is why a save system allows you to quickly reload your game. Let's move on to setup. In the 7th continent, the setup is very important, as it makes all elements for the game available. Your box holds 2 removable storage trays in which you can sort your cards in the correct order. First, place the preparation and storage divider behind which you will put the satchel and journal card, character cards, curse cards and their clues, and generic curse cards with no art. Then sort the skill cards. They show a blue hand symbol following the divider. The advanced skills show a number within a crown of laurels in the top left corner. The character skills show the face of the character. Finally, the standard skills have no particular symbol. Then take exploration cards, those with the grey fog of war-like back, and sort them in stacks with the same orange Roman numeral. Shuffle each of these stacks separately. Put them behind the grey dividers with the matching Roman numeral. It's time to create the adventure deck. To do so, take the green dividers with numbers and sort them in ascending order, following the exploration cards. Take the adventure cards, cards with a green or golden back, with numbers from 0 to 777. Please take note that not all numbers are there, and some numbers come in multiple copies. All of this is normal. When you have golden and green cards with the same number, please place the green cards before the golden ones. Sort the cards behind their matching divider. There is a lot of adventure cards. You will have to sort them in both storage trays. You should not read the front of the exploration and adventure cards when setting up the game. You should do this only when you are told to. After the adventure cards, put the past and the banished card dividers. They will be used during the game. Lastly, place the save divider along with the save cards. When you integrate an expansion to your base box, sort cards behind the matching dividers. Please note that all of the cards in the game have a unique ID number so that you can better spot them. If an expansion adds a new card type, you should put those after the curses, after the preparation and storage divider. Now that your box is set up, let's move on to setting up the game itself. For this video, I'm going to do a 3-player setup. Each player should choose a character and then take the character card of the matching character. It is for now the first and only card in your hand. Look at the top left corner of this card. It has a state symbol. I'll talk about that later. The matching figure. A fire figure. Some dice, as shown on the satchel and journal. For 3 players, each player should have 2 dice, which will be used to materialize your items in your personal inventory. Put the satchel and journal cards on the side. This is a card for all players, and it reminds the number of items you can own and the hand size limit. In our player count, each player may own up to 3 skill cards and 2 bonus cards. Bonuses are cards with positive abilities you will find during the game. You will store all quest items you find during your adventures under this satchel and journal card. You will recognize those by the book symbol in their top left corner. The seventh continent is a harsh game. If you prefer exploration to survival, you can play it in easy mode. This is highly recommended for your first game. To do so, take card 777, read it, and place it underneath the satchel and journal card. Now create your action deck. It represents your life force. To do so, shuffle together the 35 skill cards that are common to all players, the character-specific skill cards for the characters you have selected for this game. There should be 5 for each character. For this game, I'll have 15 of them. The curse card or cards you want to face during this game. The higher number, the more difficult the game will be. It is advised to start with a single curse card. The 4 generic curse cards. They are named Death is Lurking. Make this deck available to all players because each player will draw from it during the game. Put the Past divider next to the action deck. This is where you will discard the exploration and adventure cards. Place the sorting trays with all of the cards on the table within reach of all players. For this video, I'll use the tutorial scenario as it offers all of the main mechanics of the game. It is available in the Crystal Song expansion. It does not spoil the main plot. Once you have mastered all of the base mechanics, I would advise starting with the Voracious Goddess Curse, which is in the core box. Thus, take the matching hint card. Now form the game map. To do so, take the clue cards that match the curses you have chosen to face. Read the clue card. Take the adventure card that was pointed at by the clue, read it, and place it at the center of the table. As I have the choice, I will start with the adventure card 132. This adventure card is my starting space. Place the clue card underneath the satchel and journal card. Place all exploration cards around the starting area and place all figures in it. You're going to start your adventure there. At any point in the game, if you have the choice between a green card and a golden card with the same number, you must take the green card. The Crystal Song clue card tells you that each time you should draw a new terrain card and its associated exploration cards, you should replace one of these exploration cards with a Roman numeral with an exploration card with this symbol. You are now ready to begin your adventure. The game of the seventh continent plays in several game turns in which the active player will perform an action. Each action will be subject to a test to check if the action carries out. Other players may help the active player in his endeavor. Game turn. The game turn is very simple and has only 3 steps. Choose an active player, determine if there are any other involved characters to the action, then take the test. Choose the active player. For each new game turn, collectively decide who will be the active player. This player will undertake an action and see if it carries out or not. The active player may be the one that was chosen in the previous turn. If you can't agree on a player, the next active player will be the one at the left of the previous active player. Determine other involved characters. The active player may receive help from other players when resolving their action. However, players other than the active player who want to help will have to announce their wish to do so. Should they want to help the active player, they simply need to be on the same terrain card as the active player. An active player who is alone on the terrain card will not be able to receive help. Perform an action. All actions that may be performed are symbolized in a white square. You may perform an action either on the terrain card your figure is standing on, or on an exploration card attached to the terrain card your figure is standing on by an arrow, or on a card in your hand, whether a skill, bonus, or state card, or on an item card in your inventory, or on a card in the satchel and journal card, or on a temporary or permanent event card. Permanent events, unlike temporary ones, are exploration cards that remain in the play area. They are attached to the terrain or terrains they point to. Close-up on actions. Actions are all described on your player aid, and they all work in the same fashion. In the white square, you will find the type of action you are performing. In the blue diamond, you'll find the cost of the action, the energy you must spend to perform it. The number in the star shows you how many successes you need to obtain to pass the tests. The white text box is applied if you pass the test, and the black text box is applied if you fail the test. When you perform an action, follow this sequence. All involved characters decide if they use items from their inventories. Items you want to use should show the same symbol as the attempted action. Remove 1 from the dice value of each used item. If you reach 0, remove the die from the card. You will be able to apply any effect of the items you used, but only once per action. Determine the cost of the action. The base cost of the action is shown in the blue diamond. This cost shows the number of cards you will draw from the action deck. These cards give you necessary successes to help you succeed. Once the cost of the action is determined, you may apply the abilities of the cards you have in your hand and also of the items you used at the beginning of the action. They usually allow you to draw less cards by reducing the amount of energy you need to spend. You may also apply abilities of the terrain card you stand on or of quest cards if those have abilities. Draw as many cards as needed from the top of the action deck and place those face down in front of you. You often may draw more cards than required, hence the plus symbol after the number in the blue diamond. It is impossible if there is a padlock icon next to the action icon. If you decide to draw more cards, you increase your rate of success. Place those extra cards besides the first cards you drew face down. The more cards you draw, the more energy you spend, and when there are no more cards in your action deck, well, your end is looming. Now reveal the cards you just drew. Count the number of successes on the left side of the cards. A star is a success, and you may match 2 cards with half a star to create a full star. Each star with a 7 on top is worth a number of successes equal to the number of 7s on your reveal action cards. If you meet or exceed the target number of successes for the test, you pass the test. Otherwise, you fail. Whatever the result of the action, the active player may choose only one of the skin cards they revealed and add this card to the hand or to the hand of another involved character, even if it raises a player's hand above their hand limit. Please note that the character-centric skill cards can only be given to the character depicted by the card. Also, you cannot add any curse cards into your hand. Other revealed cards and items with no dice on them are discarded into the action discard pile if they are action cards with a blue back, and in the past if they are adventure or exploration cards with a green or gold or grey back. If the action has succeeded, apply the effect from the white box. If the action is a failure, the active player applies the effect from the black box. And if there were several involved characters, the active player becomes paranoid and draws a 100 card and adds it to the hand. This is a state card they can get rid of later. Then, if players have more cards in hand than their hand size, they discard down to reach their correct hand size. Now that I've explained how to perform an action, let's see how we can explore the 7th continent. As I told you, you will be able to perform an action on the terrain card you are standing on or on an exploration card attached to the terrain you are standing on. Those 2 types of action often have a single consequence. They bring in new adventure cards and or bring them into play. Resolving an exploration card. At the beginning of the game, the exploration cards are face down. When you want to take the Pathfind arrow on the Explore card, flip the exploration card and follow its instructions. You sometimes will have to perform mandatory actions. Apply the effect before you do anything else you have planned to do. Some actions with the staircase icon will require all players to be involved. Once you have resolved an exploration card, if this one was a temporary event shown with the send timer icon in the top left corner of the card, replace it by the adventure or terrain card whose number is indicated in the num box. Put the discarded exploration card on the pass divider. Reminder: if at least a green card and a golden card show the same number, you must always take the green card first. If you should take an adventure card whose number is not available any longer, You must return all the cards from the past back into the game box and now draw the correct card, unless the game states if this card is available in the adventure deck. If multiple players should draw numbered cards, start with the active player and resolve in clockwise order. When you take a new terrain card, place it instead of the exploration card you just discarded. Also place new exploration cards as indicated by the new terrain card. However, you must pay attention to the Roman numeral in the orange bubble. Some cards show a symbol inside a flag, next to the num box with the adventure card. If you have an item with this symbol, you can use that item, lowering the value of its die by 1, and add the indicated number besides the symbol of the item to the number of the adventure card. For example, we are resolving this card, and we have a raft with the same symbol as the one of the adventure card. The value of the die of the raft decreases by 1, and we add +5 to the number of the card we'll take. Instead of retrieving card 84, we take card 89. The thumb plus number symbol at the bottom of the adventure cards means we can take this card from card 36. Generally, you may take an adventure card without it being called by a num box, either from a puzzle or from a hidden number on a card. In any case, the adventure cards you will look for must bear this symbol. Some adventure or exploration cards are permanent events. They do not have a sun timer symbol, but instead they show this golden placement arrow. It is put in play permanently and is now attached to the terrain card it is pointing at. If an action symbol is shown on the arrow, this is a reminder of the action that allowed you to put this card in play. You cannot perform this action from the terrain that triggered the event anymore, as long as the permanent event is in play. When the consequences of an action is represented by this icon, all involved characters of the action must move to an available terrain card. You may move any number of spaces or cards in the direction you want as long as you are not blocked by an event card, and that the cards are adjacent and form a continuous path. Your survival in the 7th continent will often be tied to the items you own. These items will make the success of any action you undertake far more likely. Some skills allow you to craft an item. You may want to undertake the craft action they bear to transform this skill card of your hand into an item card you can put in your inventory. The cost of the craft action may be reduced if you have access to the resources needed for crafting this item. Crafting a raft has a cost of 5 cards. If the wood resource is available on the terrain you are standing on, or is on an event attached to your terrain, the cost for crafting decreases to 2+. And if you have vines in addition to wood, you may build it without drawing a single card. Once the item is crafted, place it in front of you and put a die with as many uses as shown by the card to indicate its durability, the number of times you may use it to apply its effects. Survival in a hostile land is not an easy feat, and this will affect your character. During the game, when you will experience a failure, you will acquire state cards with a red hand symbol. These cards cause energy loss. When you get a state card, if it shows this symbol, you must immediately discard as many cards from the action deck as you have state cards in your hand. This includes your character card. Then add the state card to your hand. There is no limit to the number of state cards you may have in your hand. However, if you receive a state card with the same name as another state card in your hand, put back the one you previously had into the adventure deck and keep the new one. Each state tells you how to get rid of it. If more than one player performs an action, you may change its cost, except if there is a padlock icon. However, for each card you don't want to draw, you will have to perform an additional success. For example, to perform the snowshoe action, you should draw at least 3 cards for 1 success. If there are more than 1 player involved in this action, you may decide to draw only 2. Thus you would now only need 2 successes to succeed. The game ends when you have lifted all of the curses you have chosen at the beginning of the game. You then have won, and this will be clearly explained through card text. The game also ends as a defeat, though, if there are no more cards in your action deck, you have no more energy, and you draw a curse card from the discard pile. If you empty the action deck, Shuffle the discard and put it into the same spot face down. You now draw cards from the discard pile. If you draw a curse card while the action deck still has cards in it, there is no consequence whatsoever. Fighting curses is a long-term endeavor, and you may want to pause your game and resume it at a later time. To do so, you may use the save system provided by the game. To save your game, all characters must regroup on the same terrain card. Put all terrain and exploration cards from the play area in the past, except for the terrain card your characters are on. Pile all other cards in the following order, from the bottom to the top. For each character, skill cards, bonuses and states in the hand of the players at the time of the save, items with the item saving cards bearing the number of the item durability die when the save is made, with the correct value pointing the top of the card. The discard save card followed by all cards that were discarded during the game. The action deck save card followed by all remaining cards from the action deck. The satchel and journal card followed by all quest items obtained during the game, and the terrain card you finished your game session on. To resume your game, put all cards from the past into the adventure deck. Take your character cards, skills, bonus and state cards back into your hand and put all items in your inventory. Place dice according to the durability save card. Put the terrain card at the center of the table. Put your explorer figures on top of it. Place exploration cards adjacent to yellow arrows. Put the satchel and journal card into play, with all the collected quest items underneath. Put the action card and discard pile into play. Put the save cards back into the box. You're ready to resume your adventure. Now you know almost everything about the rules of the 7th continent. Have a nice game and see you around on Tutovox.fr.